guys, and welcome back to Birmingham Fan TV. Apologies about the late video. I know this is going up on Monday, but you will have a double header today. You will have the Forest review and the Barnsley preview. Sorry, I was a little bit busy Saturday evening and Sunday morning, but this is being recorded on Sunday evening. So I do hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe down below. Like the video if you really are enjoying the content we're putting out. We are going to try and obviously increase it, as you'll see in this video. We're going to have a little bit more in-depth analysis, more stats. Comment down below your thoughts. I know that the game was a little bit of a nightmare, if I'm honest, and I know that it's going to be more negative than positive, but we can take some things from the game, and we will try and take some things from the game. So let's just obviously have some comments down below what you think we should change for Tuesday night, and subscribe if you haven't already, guys, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos. So some of the stats today in the video will be provided by StatZone. You can go and check them out on iOS or Android. This is not a sponsored video. I just thought I'd throw them in there, obviously, as they're going to be helping us out with the stats, and obviously that's where I'm getting my information from. So go and check them out. They're over on iOS or Android. So the lineups for both of the teams on Saturday, we'll quickly run through those. As you'll see, we'll put the lineups here. Muric in goal, a back four of Cash, Dawson, Worrell and Robinson. Quite an attacking defensive lineup, Robinson and Cash as the fullbacks. And Watson in that midfield pivot in the centre. Lolly, Sal, Semedo and Amiobi as the midfield four in front of him. Again, very, very, very attacking. And Graben as the lone number 9 striker up top in that 4-1-4-1 system for Nottingham Forest. Blues lined up in a 4-4-1-1, 4-2-3-1, depending on how the game and the lineup was perceived. Camp in goal, Collan, Pedersen, Dean and Roberts across the back. Gardner out on that right-hand side, Davis and Sunic as the two central midfield players. Villalba out on the left, Crowley as the number 10 in behind Lukas Jukovic. And I thought the Blues started pretty well. I think that in the opening 14 minutes before the goal, we were the better team. And obviously it was shown on the stats that we've got here for you. 3 shots. Unfortunately, none of those were on target. However, we did get 3 to Forest's 1. We did complete less passes in the opening 15 minutes, which obviously you'll see changes throughout the game. But we did have more attacking passes than Forest in the final third in that opening 15 minutes. So it shows that we did have the ball, and we did have plenty of the ball in Forest's half in the final third in the opening 15 minutes. I just think that we didn't create enough chances, and we were really wasteful with whatever we had. They were kind of snapshots, or we made the wrong decisions in the final third, and that's something we've got to be working on. Decision making. Pep talks about how good Villalba is with his quick thinking, and Crowley is very, very good at it. We're not making those good decisions at the minute, and I think that with time, with cohesion, with the more the team play, the more the team plays together, we will have that cohesion. We will manage to get that, but it wasn't on yesterday. And then obviously we had more shots, more take-ons and crosses as well, as you'll see here from the stats that are still on the screen. So obviously things were looking bright. We had a good opening to the game. Things weren't too bad, but obviously the goal then came around the 15th minute. Joe Lolly, who else was going to score? Disappointing. We knew what he's going to be like. He's a very good player. But the goal was so avoidable. It's terrible defending from Blues. Camp maybe could have done a little bit better. The shot came across him. I think he maybe could have got something to it, but I'm not going to blame him. The defence ultimately, the team itself didn't close down. We weren't good enough. And, finding ourselves 1-0 down was disappointing, considering how the first sort of quarter of the game had gone. And he was dangerous throughout, Lolly. I thought he kept the ball really well, and he was such a threat, and he always is against us. I know he's a Villa fan, but as a player, he's a good player. And then the second goal, as you'll see from the video down below from the stats, it's terrible marking. Pedersen should be stopping that from getting in the box, as you can see on the left-hand side. Villalba, who is there as well, didn't close down the fullback who plays the initial pass before the cross comes in. He needs to be marking quicker and much tighter. Pedersen should be stopping that cross. Somebody as experienced as him now needs to be doing better in that fullback position. And then the cross is hung up, and Dean needs to be doing so much better. Collins left 2-on-1 at the back stick. Both players were Amiobi and Graben, both taller than him, both better than him in the air. And he's left, really exposed. And if you go back and watch the highlights, Dean was so slow to get out to the fullback position where obviously Colin was beaten at the back post. And I thought he had a really bad game, Dean. But, you know, I'm going to try not to drag him through the dirt too much, but he did have a really, really, really off day yesterday. And I'm hoping that, as obviously the captain now, and a player that served us really well over the last 2 seasons, that he picks himself up and he goes again Tuesday night. So ultimately, the first half, no shots on target, was the most disappointing thing for me throughout the whole game, to be honest. It took us till the 49th minute to have a shot on target. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. I think we still only had 3 or 4 shots, you know, once we'd got that first on target. So, you know, not enough shots and only 1 on target by the 49th minute is not good enough. And then came, you know, Dawson's goal in about the 60th minute. Again, Harley Dean was at fault. You know, you can't hide away from that. He's lost his man. He's not tracked the runner. We're doing man marking, not zonal marking. And across comes Dawson, who's very good in the air. You know, despite his age, he is a threat from set pieces. And Pep highlighted that they were going to be a threat from set pieces. And Dean, to lose his man like he did and get a free header for Dawson, not good enough, I'm afraid. Someone as good as Dean needs to be doing much better than that. Much, much, much better. And obviously at 2-0 down is a mountain to climb. At 3-0 down, impossible game. You know, it's game over pretty much. Jimenez comes on for as a change for Crowley. Blues go to a 4-4-2. The only thing I will say is that they are very, very similar players. That does worry me. Jukovic and Jimenez, both, you know, quite tall players, good in the air, hold-up players, target men, shall we say. Jimenez looks like he's got a finish on him, and he had some very, very, very bright touches. Obviously, we'll put some of his stats here on the screen for you. But ultimately, they look the same player. Whether they can play together, we will see. It's going to be hard to drop Jukovic. But at the same time, I think Jimenez needs to come in. We need to be a little bit more positive going forward, especially on Tuesday night against Barnsley. Overall summary of the game, Blues lack pace. Blues massively lack pace. And Blues lack a cutting edge going forward. We don't get enough numbers when we go forward. If you go back and watch the highlights on Blues TV, you'll see that, you know, when we go forwards, we've got maybe 2, maybe 3 in the final third. We've got, you know, Jukovic is usually by himself in the box. That's not good enough. If you go and watch some of the games over the weekend, you know, teams are scoring with 3, 4, 5 in the box. You know, in the box, you've got to have numbers in the box when you're putting a cross in, or when we're playing balls across the box driven, or when we're trying to create openings. We need options. So for me, the team needs to be pushing higher up. We need to be playing higher up. The wing backs and full backs need to be higher up, and the wingers need to be much tighter to Jukovic. If he's going to be still used as a target man and we're going to be playing those diagonal balls into him, we need to get Crowell and Villalba much, much, much closer to him to try and pick up on the loose balls and do something. So yeah, a lot to ponder for Pep going into the game. We need to be having more shots as well. I think the 9 shots and only 2 on target all game, as we'll show in the stats down below in a minute. Not good enough. We need to be having a little bit more of faith in front of goal. We need to be having a little bit more composure and bravery. We need to go for goal. You know, you don't shoot, you don't score. Yes, okay, we shouldn't be shooting from 25 yards out every time, but if we get the ball around the box or on the edge, have a go. You know, a lot of goals are scored now from outside the box. We are good enough. We've got the players to do it. We just need to be braver. A few positives from the game, though. I still think that Dan Crowley is the best player. Not the best player, sorry, but the best player that we did bring in the summer. I think that Villalba is a very, 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 very talented player, and Sunic looks very good for his money. But for 750 grand, I think he was best value. Crowley, 3 chances created, which was the most in the game. I'll put the stat down below. So very impressive performance from him. I think he looked a bit disappointed to come off, but he looked a little bit legging. I think we'll need him Tuesday night, so that'll probably be the reason for the substitution. And Davis and Sunic had very, very good games in the midfield. Both working very well, building up a really good partnership. Davis completed 60 of his 69 passes throughout the game, and Ivan Sunic completed 59 out of his 67 passes. So both did very well, and both won the ball back enough times in that midfield. And I think they look a solid pairing in the middle of the park. They really do. Sunic needs to be careful with his bookings. Another booking yesterday. That's two bookings for him now. He will rack those up very quickly, so he needs to be, you know, mindful of that. Fran Villalba, another one I want to highlight. He had, you know, we'll put stats here now, plenty of touches in the final third, plenty of take-ons, plenty of dribbles, and he did very well with those, you know, as you can see from the stats. He created plenty of plenty of take-ons. But if I do have one criticism of Fran Villalba, and I'm hoping that obviously that's quickly, something that he works on is his final ball, his final pass, his final cross, or his final shot. Stats show that he's not quite producing in the final third. He looks good. His passing's very tidy. He's very, very good to beat a man. But we need to see a little bit more from him. Maybe it's the options ahead of him. Maybe Jukovic and maybe Crowley and maybe the midfield and the forward backs need to be making better runs. And I personally do think we do. I think we have a lack of movement in the final third for him, but he needs to be better. He's a good player. He's a talented player. We've thrown a lot at him, so he needs to produce in those final moments, those key elements for Blues going forward. Fullbacks way too deep, need to be pushing on. Pedersen, Collan need to be making those overlapping runs for the wing, but the inside wingers, should we say, Crowley and Villalba, to pull players away, to give them the space and the openings. If you go back and watch the highlights, you'll see that Pedersen doesn't really come past the halfway line, and we in this system we need them going forward. Obviously, and the final thing I will say is playing a midfield of Davis, Sunic and Gardner is way too defensive now. Gardner playing on that right-hand side, not his fault, looks a little bit lost. He doesn't look like he knows what he's doing out there. Change that one Tuesday night, regardless of what options we have. Put Bellingham in there, put Odin in there, put Magoma or Mrabti if they're fit. But, too defensive now with three sort of defensive-minded, defensively strong players all playing in the same midfield. A bit too negative for me. I think we'll come good again Tuesday night. We'll work hard. I'll put some of the stats down below quickly from the game on Saturday, but things to work on. Plenty of passes completed. Usually old Blues would have 150 passes completed in a game, whereas we've got 353 passes completed, more than Forest at home. So that shows we're trying to take the game by the scruff of the neck. We're trying to control games, and I understand that, and I understand why we're doing it. But it's important to work on both ends of the pitch now. Defensively, we were very lax, not as solid as we've been, so we need to work on that. And going forwards, we need to be creating much more than we have done, especially Villalba, Crowley, and I think we need to change the system slightly, but we will go over that in the Barnsley preview later on today. You will get that on the Monday evening, so don't forget to look out for that one, guys. With plenty more stats and statistics in that one. But I think that is all from me. That just about wraps it up, guys. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave us a like, leave us a comment down below your thoughts on the game and what you would change. Leave your team suggestions for the Barnsley game, or you can leave them on the video later today, up to you. But thank you so much for joining me, guys. I hope you're enjoying everything. It's good to see you all again. Good to see the season back in full flow, and we will see you very shortly for the Barnsley review and Barnsley preview. Keep it on, guys.